Hey, basketball fans! It's DC Hewitt from Fantasy Basketball Analyzer. Thanks for watching. Hope everyone had a good Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever holidays, if any holidays you celebrate. Maybe just some downtime. Let's get ready for Week 11 of the NBA season. So this week we've got three teams with only two games: Houston, New Orleans, and Philly. And unfortunately, I think you probably sit them all. There's a good chance you don't have a Harden replacement, but if we're talking weekly locks league, I think you have to sit them down. And for some of it, you'll see why I'm saying that. But like I said, Harden, you probably don't have another option. New Orleans, Ingram's been shooting great. The team's been doing better. The defense is sneakily getting a little bit better, but I still think you don't mess with it. It's two games. If you're in a weekly locks, it's just not worth it. But I actually have to be quick. I got another family event today. It's actually my birthday because I'm an old man now. So I got to fly through this stuff because I got to get on the road and get out of state pretty quick. So I'm bringing this show to you a little bit earlier than usual, getting it done fast. So let's get to it. If we're looking at the defensive pace of play here, no big surprises. Best teams you want to play: Washington, Atlanta, New Orleans. Like I said, their defense is getting sneakily a little better, but they're still playing fast. It's going to take a while for those averages to shift wildly. Memphis, Cleveland. So what I think that's a little interesting. Cleveland has had a slow pace of play all season, and they still do. It's down there towards the bottom at 101.3. But the defense is just so bad at 113 that they've actually creeped into the top five, bumping out Minnesota and Phoenix, Golden State, teams that we had up here. Although Golden State really dropped off because of pace of play as well, like I said, in prior weeks. Now with D'Angelo going and more of a, we'll say, deliberate style of gameplay, the pace has slowed down, which has lowered them from like the ideal matchups. That said, the defense still isn't great, so you still play against them. It's all this kind of grain of salt. This is how you help split hairs, especially if you're in a daily change league and you're trying to figure it out. Then hopefully the schedule can help you bring it up. So let's go ahead and bring up the schedule and take a look at what we got. So if we're looking at the whole week, besides from the two game teams, Houston, New Orleans, Phoenix, nothing super stood out to me. So if you look at Houston, they've got Denver and Philly. So not only do they have two games, they have two games against the least desirable defensive matchups. So that's not to say that Harden and Westbrook can't go off, but if you've got other options and, there's a decent amount of teams playing four games, maybe you can go somewhere else. You probably still got to go with those superstars. New Orleans, I think, is a skip. Philly's got Indiana and then Houston. So it's not a great week for them either. I mean, two games are never a great week, but Atlanta, right at the top of the schedule there, has three games, but all of them are against non-desirable defenses. They get Orlando, Boston, and Indiana. So they're going to have some tough matchups. I still think you play Trey. It's three games, and he's doing great. But, John Collins is back. So if you've been hanging on to him, and he's 96% owned in Yahoo, so it looks like most people have been hanging on to him. If you've been hanging on to him, I still think you'd bench him. He's probably going to have a big game against Chicago tonight on Saturday night. And it might get you a little excited. But if you've survived this long without John Collins, I'd try and keep him on the bench. I'm not saying he's going to have a terrible week, but you've been getting by without John Collins. It means you have someone you can play, and it might be a little bit of a down week. If you don't have John Collins, and he does well against Chicago tonight, next week this time might be the time to get those trade offers in. You wait, let him play Orlando, start talking to the owner. Boston, Indy. If he has some down games here, he had a good week and then he has some lower games against some of the best defenses, slower pace of play teams, maybe you can get in there and kind of, someone's so frustrated they've been hanging on to him and now he's got a bad week when they finally got to play him. That's the time to go try and steal him. So it might be a target worth looking at. Jabari Parker's out. So not only is Collins back, but he was out with an injury. So I think you sit him all week. I'm not going to do a run through of every single team like that. I always try and look at the schedule and pick out a team to kind of call out. And that was what noticed when I looked at across the strength of schedule stuff. But you can see the rest of the grid, and I'll link down below in the comments. I'll pin it. I'll also have it in the description So you go ahead and click it. It'll take you to my Google spreadsheet, and you can look at the schedule throughout the week. But like I said, I'll always take replays. And it's my birthday this week. So if you just want to, like, click the playlist of everything on the channel and, like, go play video games or watch a movie and just let this run in the background and give me some views, I'll take it. I'm not above that. All right, let's take a look at the back-to-backs. So conveniently, I didn't have to do anything special on the grid because at the end of next week on Sunday, there was no one with a Sunday to Monday back-to-back. So I didn't have to do any special, adjustments for that. I'm just looking behind me. There's quite the light glare from my lights for you guys. So let's do this. All right, looking at the back-to-backs, Atlanta, Boston, they're all later in the week. So for streamers, you're not really going to have a great chance to, like, pick up and play the Monday, Tuesdays back-to-backs. It's not even a ton of teams. If you want to get I'm talking to the Daily Change League owners. So there's an option if you can go grab someone from Milwaukee or Minnesota, maybe you can get someone on the Monday, Wednesday switch and then, like, pivot to none or someone from Miami and get the Toronto, Orlando back-to-backs there. Miami's got a strong end of the week because they play 4 games, but they've got 3 games in 4 nights. And there's a few teams like that. Memphis has it. Clippers have it. Detroit has it. So there's a few options there if you look at it with all these back-to-backs. Of course, the Clippers with back-to-backs can always be a little dangerous. But at least their back-to-backs are both homes, and they're Memphis Knicks. So they're both beatable teams. I wouldn't be shocked if the guys are playing a little bit less. Washington has 4 games this week, but all 4 are at home, so that works in their favor. So they got the end of the week back-to-backs, like Portland and then Denver. Denver's not a great matchup. Portland, you're not afraid of that. So they might have it down at the end of the week. But all right, I talked fast. I flew through it. That's kind of our rundown for this week for some things to look at, help you set your lineup and play your games. Thanks for watching. Be sure, I've got a lot of people watching the videos, which is great. But more people watching than are subscribed. If you're coming back every week, please just hit the subscribe so you don't miss anything. New Year's coming, and I'm going to try and start pumping out some more content as time allows once we get past this busy holiday season. So, appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching. Like, comment below, and have a great week. Happy New Year, everybody. Go out there and win your weeks.